I'm just going to jump right into it because I realize my introduction is way long, so I'm just going to get right to the point. So I had asked on Instagram regarding what sort of healing type content that you'd want me to make a video on, and it seems to be a emotional type healing more so than physical. So I figured I would just take a few different learnings that I've had and sort of expand on those. And this actually wasn't in my letter, I don't believe, but it's been a really important part of my healing. And so the topic that I want to discuss today is on forgiveness. And that could be self-forgiveness, and it could also be forgiveness towards others. And you may be wondering, forgiveness and healing, is it really that important? Well, actually, yes, it really is that important. In regards to healing yourself, you have to forgive yourself. And maybe not everyone is like me, but I know that when I was younger, and even up until recently, I would beat myself up. If I made a mistake, if I hurt someone, if I did something, you didn't have to tell me because I would do a good enough job beating myself up. There would be so much guilt. There would be so much shame. But at the same time, what I'm realizing is there's no such thing as a perfect human. We sometimes inadvertently hurt people. Sometimes advertently. Maybe we did do it on purpose. That doesn't mean you don't grow and evolve from that. So we hurt people. We make mistakes. That's honestly what the human experience is okay, this didn't work. I shouldn't have done that. Good to know. Lesson learned sort of thing. So the first part is you have to learn to forgive yourself. I know so many of us are carrying around mistakes or different issues from the past that they just can't let go of. They feel so bad. They have so much shame, although shame is more of a public emotion. And they just have so much guilt. And it really is holding them back, because if you can't forgive yourself, you can't move forward. You just you're stuck. You have this sort of resistance to moving forward because you're just stuck. It's like you're stuck in the mud. So the first thing you have to do is you have to forgive yourself. You have to identify, again, everyone makes mistakes, and maybe you need to right your own. Maybe you need to apologize to someone to do that, but maybe you don't. Maybe you just need to look at yourself and saying, from my frame of mind and my perspective at that time, I made the decision that I thought was best. Hindsight's 20/20, although I'm very leery to say that this year, and maybe it wasn't. But I mean, that's part of the experience. So looking back and giving yourself the same grace and the same mercy that you would give to someone else is really, really important. No matter what the mistake is, when you know better, you do better. And I feel like a lot of the self-healing has to come from just simply forgiving yourself for what other parenting mistakes that you made, what mistakes that you made in relationships, whatever it is. Just forgive yourself so you can move on and you can do better. You stay stuck, you're just going to keep that pattern going and going. And it's going to be self-loathing and hatred and anger towards yourself. Even if it's not outright, you're going to experience that because you're still holding on. But the same goes for forgiveness of other people. And forgiveness is a very personal thing, obviously, if it's self-forgiveness, but also in the sense that forgiving others is not about them at all. You may or may not get an apology from someone who has done you wrong. It may have been on purpose, it may not have been on purpose. None of those variables really matter. Now, I'm not saying that you haven't been in a situation where you've been a victim. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is your healing is your responsibility. So no matter the circumstances, you didn't deserve it. You're not to blame for anything that has happened to you in regards to maybe it was abuse or something like that. Like, you have to hold yourself accountable for what you do have to take responsibility for. But a lot of people that we're angry at, many of the times it had nothing to do with us. We were just that person that was sort of in the way, and it didn't matter who it was, what other meat body was going to be there, the same thing would have happened. So you have to realize that it's not about the other person. It doesn't matter if they're sorry. It doesn't matter if they say they're sorry. It doesn't matter if you get your closure. Yes, you were a victim of that situation, but you can't stay in that. You can not stay a victim. Because here's what happens. You don't forgive them, and you're thinking, I'm going to stick it to them. I'm not going to forgive them. They did me wrong. Yes, they did do you wrong. Are you hurting them? No, probably not really. I mean, some people may beg and say, please, please forgive me. And that may happen. But many times, some of these people you'll never see again. I've been sexually assaulted not once, but multiple times. Many of these abusers I will not ever see again. I'm not even going to have the opportunity to see if they would apologize, nor does it matter. So you can't hold that, well, they're not even sorry for what they did. What are you going to do about it? I mean, it sucks. I understand that. But you got to stop looking externally. You got to stop looking outwards. Because if you don't forgive them, is it going to hurt them? No, probably not. They're probably not even thinking about you anymore. Or at least not on a regular basis. But you're carrying it with you every single day. And it's just holding you back. So think about someone gives you a hot pan. And you didn't want it, you didn't ask for it, but they give it to you and you're holding it and your fingers are being blistered and you're burning, but you're like, no, I'm not going to let go of this. I'm not going to make them feel that they won. I'm not. Really? Because your hands are burning off right now. So it's only hurting you. It's not hurting someone else. And so you have to take a look and say, okay, I did not deserve this. I didn't. I probably wish whatever lesson that I was supposed to learn from this happened in another way, but it didn't. And it is a part of my story, and it is important to not just try to sweep it under the rug. Yes, it somehow has affected who you are now, whatever the situation is. But at the same time, you can't sit and mull and carry that anger with you, because it's going to cause you to not be able to move forward. You're not going to be able to heal. You're not going to be able to grow. You're going to stay stuck. So when you're talking about self-healing, there's a lot of proactive things that you can do. You can journal, you can meditate, you can ground with the earth. There's a lot of really proactive things, but some of that's the inner work that you have to do too. Some of that's, what am I responsible for? And taking that accountability. Some of it is, what am I not responsible for? But yet I still have to do the hard work and clean up. Like, again, does it suck? Yes, but everyone is carrying a story. Everyone has had something done wrong with them. Everyone literally could be a victim if they wanted to. And it's all in realizing that you forgive others, you forgive the situation to heal yourself. And what they take from it, why they did that, whether they were sorry, does not matter. So what I would urge you to do, and something that I've had to do, is, again, reevaluate, where am I carrying a little bit of guilt and shame? And basically coming to an agreement with yourself that, okay, I did this, what did I learn from it, why did I do this? And giving yourself a little bit of compassion that, okay, I made a mistake, but, this is how I'm going to move forward. So forgiving yourself first and foremost. Take a look at some of the trauma that you've experienced in your life. And it's hard. It's hard to say, forgive that person who abused you. Forgive that person that did that. But it's not about them. So look at that situation and say, okay, this is what I experienced. Wash your way from any accountability. It was my fault that happened. No, it wasn't that. That was on them. So give yourself a little compassion there. And look at it and say, you know what? I'm not going to carry this anymore. I forgive you. I don't have to tell you that. I forgive you for me. And there is a really good meditation that I did on this, and it's called Ho'oponopono, and it's Hawaiian meditation. And I was in tears doing this meditation because it starts out as forgiveness basically for others, but very soon you start to forgive yourself. And that's transformational. Because sometimes the other thing is they kind of go hand in hand. What will happen many times is, I'm so angry at that person, I'm not forgiving them, but sometimes that's not what it is. It's you don't forgive yourself. If I look at situations in my life, say, that person, they did this, they did that. But I realized through my growth that I wasn't really even still mad at them. I still wasn't holding a grudge in them. I was holding a grudge to myself. I would say, well, Mary, how could you be so stupid? How did you not see that? What was wrong with you? I was beating myself up. And it wasn't even about that person. So that's why I said you have to heal both. You have to forgive yourself. You have to look at the situation and forgive that other person, because it's all internal. So I would like to think that this is probably pretty basic, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't anything I thought of. I didn't think it was that important. I'll just carry this along and hold this and beat myself up. It's a learning experience. Yes, yes, it is. But it's okay to give yourself compassion. And if you want to expand and grow, and if you want to be able to give others that same compassion, you have to give it to yourself. And if you're giving it to other people, you have to be able to give it to yourself. So I don't know if this is helpful, but I will say this is something that's been pretty transformational for me, is to start off really focusing on everything that's happened, my mistakes, the wrongdoings that have happened to me, and making peace with those for myself. And then it's like a weight is lifted off. It's like that hot pan that was burning your hands. You just let go, just like that. So that's one of my subjects to start. Probably it'll be a series of, is forgiveness. And try the Ho'oponopono meditation. Do some self-reflection, some journaling, and see where it is that you're not being very kind to yourself, and see where you can forgive others to kind of let go and release and to be able to move forward. So I hope this was helpful. I feel like I was all over the place, but I feel like it's somewhat of a complicated topic. So hopefully you got something from this. If you have any other ideas of any videos you would like, please let me know. All right, have a good Tuesday. Have a good Tuesday. Bye.